Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Breathe deep the gathering gloom. Watch lights fade from every room. Bedsitter people look back and lament another day's useless energy spent. Fix it! You can't. So blow it up. Good to have you with us. My name is Rick Ballou, typically 6 to 8 in today, and for the majority of the week, 4 to 6, alongside Hayes Carline and JJ LaSalva. The only thing that's different about this Monday, it's not raining sideways. It's a beautiful day outside in Duval.
Gorgeous day.
It's not
Great
supposed
weather.
to happen. Don't you, when you lose, don't you supposed to have rain and all of that type of stuff?
At least we have that working for us because we certainly don't have much of a pro football team.
Oh, man, this isn't a big coffee stand on my shirt. This is drool, okay? Because I'm salivating here. I'm trying to figure out what's next. I mean, enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. Someone has to go. That someone is going to be Doug Peterson. But I'm sorry. I got to begin today's program by saying, where is the pride? Where is the professionalism out of these football players? They have to make plays, and they haven't been doing so.
No, and they're not going to. I mean, at this point, 1-5, I mean, they're not going to turn this around. It's just a question of how bad will it get. And, again, this is where Shad Khan needs to go ahead and at least if he wants to keep Balky and Peterson in place until, Black Monday, that's fine. That's up to him. But he does need to start thinking of what is the next vision of Jaguars football going to be. And I wrote about it on 1010XL earlier today. It's free if you guys want to go check it out. I tweeted it out. It's time to start whatever the vision is. I think the vision should be raid the Lions. That should be the Operation Raid Detroit. And go get Ray Agnew, the assistant GM there, who's been there since 21. He's a former first-round pick way back in the day.
Former Patriot.
Played at NC State, 56 years old. He's ready. He's been with the Lions throughout this entire build. And then, of course, once you hire Ray Agnew, he has the in on Ben Johnson. So you'd bring a lot of synergy in doing that. Again, it's unfortunate. They've got 11 games left. I mean, this isn't what we want to talk about, but I can't talk about firing Peterson and Balky. I wrote that after the Buffalo loss. So, today it was like, well, I'll write about what should they do next. And, if Shad Khan wants to maintain any competitive football credibility, I think he has credibility as an owner who will spend. He's always done that. I think he has credibility as an owner that wants to invest in the city. He has certainly spent a lot of his own money on infrastructure here with the Jaguars in the city. But when it comes to football credibility, that is now very much in jeopardy because of how bad this has gone. They are 2-10 in their last 12 games. They've never looked this bad. I mean, because now I don't even think, yes, they have some injuries that are a concern, but it's across the board. I mean, I can't even tell you what's the most troubling. I heard you say it in handoff, and you're dead on. It is rotten throughout.
Yeah, it's top to bottom, and you're going to have to, once again, start all over here. You can't rebuild this and have the organization somewhat half-pregnant, if you will. And I think that that's what they're going to do. I know I am way, way, way out on the island by myself here. I don't think Trent Baalke's going anywhere. Everyone I talk to says, you're crazy, they're going to fire. I would have fired him 2 years ago. I hope that that's the case, but I don't believe it, and I'm not going to believe it until I see it. You mentioned Shad Khan. He gave the dreaded, Shad takes the opportunity to go to London to do his sit-down interviews there.
Right.
Okay, not here where the franchise is built, but let's take advantage of this great trip to London, and we'll give the sit down. So the word comes out, the vote of confidence, which I do not believe. But listen, I like Shad Khan. I know him a little bit. The 8 years that I was a sideline reporter, very cordial man, brief little conversations. I like him as a human being. What I've always been really concerned about, though, who is a part of his inner circle? Who does he trust? What football minds? We've heard maybe Bill Polian. We've heard maybe Tony Dungy. Do you know? I mean, if he needs to sit down with four guys and have some coffee, say, guys, I need to rebuild it. Which direction do I go for a head coach? Which direction do I go for a general manager? I don't know if he has a football inner circle.
No, and a lot of times he asks his peers in ownership, which is a terrible idea because you're at the same poker table those men are at. They're all trying to win the Lombardi Trophy. So if I'm Robert Kraft and you pick up the phone and call me and say, Robert, what should I do?
Yeah, Jenny over at the massage parlor said that you should go hire.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm hearing wonderful things about Willie Taggart, the Ravens running back coach. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Mike Norvell. There's a name for you. Steal him.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I don't know. To your point, that's always been a weakness of Shad's, and I don't think it's gotten much better over the course. But this is, I mean, again, this isn't rocket science. It's a simple game, and we overthink it a lot. Look at, okay, what's a franchise that's sort of similar to my franchise that's now having success? It's the Detroit Lions. I mean, you could make a case, too. The Kansas City Chiefs were kind of mediocre. They were better than what the Jaguars really have been. But the Lions are hapless, have been for decades. Yeah. You go in the Lions press box, you know what you see? You see black and white photographs because they've had Megatron, Barry Sanders, and Stafford for like 30 years. Maybe every other picture in the press conference.
Maybe Billy Sims is up there.
They've got like one bar face mask to celebrate their triumphs.
Right.
So, I mean.
And I missed on that, too. I thought that was going to be a major misstep when you heard Campbell talking about biting kneecaps.
Yeah,
I was like, this guy will be fired in a year and a half.
Absolutely.
And look at what he's done.
He's done a great job. And obviously, you can't have him and you can't have Holmes, the general manager. But. You look at Detroit, who's very much Jacksonville's sort of a poor man's Lions. The Lions have just been awful for much longer. But you look at what they've been able to do through the draft, through savvy trading, and it starts there. And I do think Balky is. I don't think he'll be fired. I think it'll be labeled a retirement, and he'll get to maintain a shred of dignity out the door. But I will
Screw that. I want
shocked.
him fired by his name.
Yeah, that's fine. But, I mean, I would be shocked if he's the general manager. Because, Rick, they're heading to this is going to be 4-13.
Well, this
is not going to get salvaged. They are headed to a 4 or 5 win season where they will literally be playing all of their December and January football. It will be completely meaningless. It will only be, are you messing up your draft pick football?
And we'll talk about that as we move throughout the course of the day. I think a fire sale is coming. And there's two ways to look at that. If you admit it and you move these players before November 5th, and Balky's got his, he's got that at the tip of his fingers, and in a way, that's kind of like he knows he's safe for another year if he moves these guys. Back to Shad Khan. I don't know if he owns 100 companies, 250 companies. I don't know how many companies he owns, but my guess is with his success, there's been plenty of times in business where he's owned companies that have not done well. And he's probably been forced to blow up those companies or make household changes with those companies. When you're as successful as he is, and every time I check Forbes, I see that he's made more and more. I think he's worth like $12.3 billion or something right now. He's seen mistakes. He's fixed mistakes. He cannot fix this one. Okay, this has been an ongoing problem, organization after organization after organization. So right now, I don't know if you can put any faith at all into what this man has done. He tried to reincarnate Tom Coughlin, and it blew up in his face. He brought in Urban Meyer, who was one of the greatest college football coaches of the last 25 years, blew up in his face. Now he brings in a Super Bowl winning quarterback who was fired a couple of years after winning the Lombardi, fired for the same reason that he's going to get fired again by overdoing it with Press Taylor. This man has put Press Taylor in front of the organization. You can be the most casual Jaguar fan, and you understand that Press Taylor has not worked calling plays. Everyone sees it, yet he hasn't forced the change.
No, he hasn't. I mean, Doug Peterson's ultimately is going to be undone by, I think, certainly his devotion to Press Taylor. But also his just complete inability to pick a defensive coordinator. I mean, put Ryan Nielsen back on It's a Small World. I mean, where you found him. I mean, it's embarrassing how bad that side of the ball has become. And I get it. They don't have Foye Oluokun. They don't have Tyson Campbell. But it should not look this bad. You should not have a rookie quarterback have 6 incompletions and 4 touchdown passes. You should not be 6 games into a season and your defense is allowing the opposing quarterback to complete 70.8% of his passes.
How about the middle of the field?
14 touchdowns to 1 interception. You've allowed a passer rating of 114.4. Joe Burrow leads the NFL right now in passer rating at 110.3. You are allowing a passer rating that would lead the NFL by 4 points.
In his 6th game. And how about the middle of the field? You could drive a Mack truck for that. I mean, you talk about a complete, absolute breakdown in coverage, whether they're running the ball or passing the ball. I mean, the safety play has been absolutely atrocious, which shocked me. I just got done reading Pro Football Focus. Highest grade yesterday on the defensive side, Andre Sisco.
Oh, there's no quitting that guy.
I mean, God, I'm going to stop reading. I don't know why I read Pro Football Focus. I mean, it tells me that I do not know what I'm talking about.
He got a gift pick on the only real bad throw of the day for Williams, where if Williams throws a laser, it's probably a touchdown. He lollipops it, puts way too much arc on it.
Great tackle on Komet.
And it ends up being a pick for Sisco. But, yeah, I mean, it's there's nothing redeemable about what they're putting out on field. And look, it's not better on the offensive side. They can't catch passes. I mean, it's gotten to the point, the running game that, looked like it was really turning into form. Rick, we talked about this on Friday. Chicago can't run the ball, and you can run the ball. So that's a path. That's a path to a win. What ends up happening? They get outrushed 152-68. Yeah. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne combined for 23 yards on 10 carries. Oh. And meanwhile, a Chicago team that was averaging like 3.4 yards a carry for the season runs for 152 and 5.2 a pop. Pathetic. All
right, we got a lot to try to fix here over the next couple of hours. As always, we do invite your input. It's on our text line, 641-1010. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I also want to tell you that opening comments are brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. Hey, maybe you don't have 20/20. Maybe a good thing if you were watching football over the weekend. But we care about your eyes, and we care about it getting done the right way. It's amazing how people are taking advantage of financially when it comes to cataract surgery. The most expensive is not always the best. Not in the case of your eye care. Hey, you may have a serious issue with your eyes, like I did 8.5 years ago. Went in to visit Shmunez Vision. Dr. Neil Shmunez noticed it, said, you need surgery tomorrow. He performed surgery. His daughter, Catherine Shmunez, Dr. Catherine, very well involved in the process as well. Combined, you're talking about more than 30 years of laser eye surgery experience. Whether it's your grandparents, your grandkids, or whomever, make sure you go to the very best right here in Duval. Visit the good folks at Shmunez Vision online. Get also their testimonials on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. All right, we come back. Let's roll into this a little bit. We're gonna, I do believe that right now what we're looking for 6 games in is how to fix this thing, right? I mean, blow it up and then fix it and move forward. And I hate it for you. I hate it for the patience that you Jaguar fans have dealt with year after year after year, but you're going to have to do it again. Your thoughts, 641-1010 on our text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, along with JJ Guaselva and Hayes Carline. It's great to have you with us. My name's Rick Ballou.
Everything you need to know about your hometown team.
Jaguars Today.
Go inside the Jags and the NFL every day from 10 to noon with Mike, Tony, and Jags Insiders.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the Garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage too.
Clearwater Jacks TenTenXL.com.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say,
What? Huh?
I'm so over this.
but what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Scott Hobson in Ponte Vedra at 479-9000.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline for MyBookie, hoping everyone had a profitable betting weekend with MyBookie. If you did, you have Monday Night Football tonight to rack it up. If you didn't, you have Monday Night Football tonight to get right. The Buffalo Bills travel cross-state to take on the Jets. The Jets just fired their head coach. We've seen this before where teams rally after a big shakeup. The Jets are 2.5-point underdogs at home with a 41-point over-under at MyBookie. This game often plays closer than we think, so take a long, hard look at the Jets. MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can just sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up, use promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Get the latest on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the Drip Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Joe C. for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. And if your dream is to create that space where you're living large in your backyard, then you need to get with the good people at CSS. They put a gas log in our fireplace, an awesome fire pit out back where the kids can toast s'mores and we can just hang out and watch the game. It's all part of your outdoor living experience with CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
You dream it, we build it. CSS.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
You
don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Mondays are brought to you by Miller Electric. Man, they've been around for almost 100 years. No matter where you go throughout Jacksonville, you see building and more building. Why? Everyone wants to come here to Duval. And Miller Electric, they have their fingers all over it, really. No matter what you see, whether it's churches, whether it's just schools, buildings, certainly with everything that's coming downtown. And the field of being an electrician, that's not going anywhere. We're not talking about newspapers here. We're not talking about 8-track tapes. We're talking about being an electrician, and they are hiring. They believe in rewarding hard work, the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture. Just go to Miller Careers. That is Miller Careers to get all of the details. All right. Jacksonville takes another one right across the forehead yesterday, a 35-16 loss. They dropped 4 touchdown passes in this game, a couple by Gabe Davis. Trevor didn't play a perfect game, Hayes. He had the underthrow to Brian Thomas Jr. down the right sideline. That was costly. 2 turnovers, 8 penalties. Trevor sacked 4 times. Need I go on?
No. I mean, it's a horror show. I mean, it truly is. And I can only imagine what the mood around, that facility is going to be for the next 6 days.
At the Grove?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how awful it is going to be for everybody over there?
And there's no downtime. You don't go home to your wife and your girlfriend. You're surrounded by these guys. That's why London's bad for this amount of time.
Without a doubt.
If you're losing. If you're winning, it's great.
Sure.
But they're not winning.
Yeah. And not only are they not winning, there's not a lot of hope here. Like, Doug can talk about, well, we've had a few games that were one-possession game. Okay, but you've also been embarrassed twice. Mm-hmm. I mean, embarrassed. And I always think in the NFL that's going to happen. But to me, you can get embarrassed when things are going pretty well for you. Like if you just have a game that for whatever reason, you didn't show up, a team comes in super hot, you run into a buzzsaw and you get beat. All right, if you're around 500 or above 500, that's life in the NFL. You can't get embarrassed when you're 0-2. You can't get embarrassed when you're playing in London against a rookie quarterback, an upstart team. And again, this was a rout. It was 35-10 early fourth quarter.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I mean, it was a complete rout. And again, the penalties were just brutal. To give Chicago 3 first downs off of penalties. Again, we talked about, getting outrushed by, nearly 100 yards when that was your strength against them coming into this game. The Jaguars threw 7 more passes yesterday than the Bears, yet had 11 fewer yards. I mean, it's just an abject failure. I think they've got talent on the roster, but better than what this should be. But it's to your point, it all has to be taken down. If a building is engulfed in flames, you can't salvage anything. And in this case, nothing of this can be salvaged other than Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you hope that the next coach can elevate his play and get him playing. I don't think he hasn't played well, but I think largely it's been environmental, his struggles. But it's to a point now where, and it is sad. You hit the nail on the head. I feel awful for the fans. I mean, there's 11 more games of this.
Yeah.
And none of them are going to mean anything. In fact, it's probably going to get to a point, let's say they beat New England. Well, then they're going to be lucky to win 2 of their next 5.
Very difficult part of the schedule.
Yeah. I mean, those teams are 21-6 overall. When you look at, Green Bay and Minnesota, Detroit, Philly, Houston.
You're going to lose all of those.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is going to turn into the well, I hope they lose to just keep the draft pick for the next GM and the next coach. I mean, that's where we're headed.
Yeah, it is.
And there's no reason it should have gone there. But to your point about Shad, he was convinced to hire Trent Baalke, which was an utter joke based on his history. He has then doubled down on that by putting Baalke with multiple head coaches and hired a coach in Doug Peterson, who then was more than willing to make the same mistake with Press Taylor that ultimately cost him his job in Philadelphia.
It's unthinkable.
You can't be that naive as a football mind and turn this thing around unless you're going to have a very hard conversation with yourself and basically say, okay, I'm going to strip this down to the bare bones. And basically the simplest explanation is the correct one. What's the simplest explanation here? Go get Detroit's assistant general manager and their hot offensive coordinator and pray that they can somehow build what it appears like Detroit is building with a team that is young, hungry, and killing teams.
I think a lot of this is on Shad Khan. And he's never been the hands-on football owner. He's allowed others to make those decisions. But it's very simple to me now that we have learned that Shad meets with Doug before and after every game. What has prevented Shad Khan from going up to Doug Peterson and saying, Doug, either you call plays or you're fired. I'm freaking tired of losing every week. You call the plays or you are fired. Okay? He owns this franchise. Does anyone want him to be like the late Al Davis? Does anyone want him to be like Jerry Jones? No. But I think there's a time and a place where you stick out your chest a little bit and you say, this is not working. A year ago, you talked about averaging 30 points a game offensively. Right now, you're not even averaging 20. It's that simple to me. So now, where is this football team? I really think it's three things that are ahead of them that they have to make these decisions. Number one, I've never been a big fan of firing guys in the middle of the season. If they lose to New England, and they're a 5.5-point favorite, New England's terrible. But
they might win this game.
If they lose to New England, you fire Doug Peterson when you land the plane. You have to.
You have no choice.
Because you're not going to win against these NFC teams coming up, as you just documented. You're going to lose those guys. So you got to make the change. The number two process becomes, here's the 14th day of October. November 5th is the NFL trade deadline. You got guys like Andre Sisco talking about quitting. Time to get his ass out of town.
Absolutely.
Move
for
him.
a washing machine.
Right. You're not going to re-sign him. He's not a good player. There's been hints. You know, he's dropped a hit here and there. Then you ask him to make another album, and it just fell apart. Andre Sisco, no. You're not going to pay him the going rate. Bye-bye. Cam Robinson, Christian Kirk. Travis Etienne's now got a hamstring along to go with his shoulder. I kind of want to hang on to Travis. I like the two backs, but it's just not working. It seems like you push one up, push one down, the other one pops up. They're never healthy. And when's the last time Tank and Etienne have had solid games together? It doesn't happen.
It's never happened.
Maybe one in their career. If so, I think that's next. And, oh, by the way, there's a link to that. All of a sudden, you find out that Trent Baalke traded Cam Robinson, and he traded Christian Kirk, and he traded Andre Sisco, and you're getting conditional 6th and 7th round picks, and you're unloading big salary. To me, that says Trent Baalke's safe. He's making all these moves. He knows he's not going to win this year by trading these players. He's stockpiling more draft capital. But I think that's the second phase of all of this. See what you can get for your future. Is Trent Baalke going to make those moves if he thinks that his job is still in jeopardy?
Well, that's what I think is a really interesting point, because it would be better for them probably just to hold on to who they have and let the next GM and coach evaluate the roster and decide, is Christian Kirk in our plan or not? Is Cam Robinson in our plan or not? Probably not, but you'd like them to have the flexibility. A new general manager is not going to be dazzled with having 4 conditional 6th-round picks. Like, that's not going to help you get him to Jacksonville. But
he's going to have more salary cap space. That's the other side of it.
He would, but they're not like in that bad a shape with that. So if it were me, I mean, if somebody calls you with an offer that you just can't turn down and you're out of it, as they are going to be at the deadline, then by all means, like if somebody wants to throw you a 4th-round pick for Cam Robinson, you do it in a second.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be basically getting a dime to on the dollar, then you're better off just to hold on to those guys, get into the offseason, and then let the new brass evaluate what you have and go into it. Because they really, to be honest, in terms of draft capital, they're in pretty decent shape in terms of the number of selections they have in this draft. But to your point, it will signal a confidence in Trent Baalke if Shad Khan gives him the authority to be a seller at the deadline and make 2 or 3 of these moves. Because if I am Shad Khan at this point, the directive is the only guys you can sign are practice squad guys that we can just maintain our 53, and fill in the practice squad, guys like that. The major decisions are done. You guys are not making any major decisions. And yeah, at that point, they know that they're at the end of the road, but they have to know that now. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine how toxic the week is going to be for all of them in London for a week. I mean, it's going to be like having 85 Nicholsons in The Shining walking around.
It's going to be like a week spent with your mother-in-law. That's the way I think a lot of people would describe it. This is the latest here, according to sportsbetting.ag. Next coach to be fired. You got to give away money in order to make money on Doug Peterson. It's 2-3. I mean, for those who aren't in the gambling world, it's -150.
And that's the universe in which Mike McCarthy lives in.
Yeah. I mean, you would have right now. You have to lay $150 down to bring back $100 on Doug Peterson being not a coach to get fired, but the next
one
coach to get fired.
I honestly think New England might beat them on Sunday.
Mike McCarthy's next 4-1. I mean, 4-1. So that's $400. Yeah. Okay. Kevin Stefanski 5-1. Antonio Pierce.
I mean,
wow.
Sirianni has to be somewhat high on that list.
Sirianni's 12-1 with Brian Daboll.
I mean,
yeah, 3/4 of the NFC East.
Yeah,
is going to be looking for a new coach next year.
Dan Quinn's going to be the dean of the division in his second year in Washington next year. It's incredible.
But here's the other part of this that, unfortunately, we're talking about way too soon during the calendar year. I've already expressed my opinion many, many times over about how I felt they totally dropped the ball on the hiring process for Doug Peterson. You cannot make that mistake again. There's going to be 6 or 7 vacant jobs. Regardless of what people think of Trevor Lawrence right now, if I'm Shad Khan, I have got to find the coach who knows that he can work with this. I loved your bit a few weeks ago when you fired Peterson and you mentioned the Sean Payton, Drew Brees relationship. See, here's my only issue if you get a Mike Vrabel or if you get a Bill Belichick. They're defensive-minded coaches. And even if you bring in a Josh McDaniels, okay, do we know that McDaniels can work with anyone not named Tom Brady? He's failed miserably as a head coach. But if you bring in Mike Vrabel and all of a sudden you get this hot offensive coordinator and he's so good, he fixes Trevor, well, then he's going to get a job somewhere else in a year or two. You don't want that. You want a guy, maybe it is Ben Johnson. I don't know. Maybe it is Bobby Slowick. I don't know. But you got to find who that guy is, and you know that he's going to work in unison with Trevor Lawrence for the next 8 to 10 years and develop him as the hands-on head coach play caller, where if you want to snatch up the offensive coordinator, okay, it hurts a little bit, but your head coach is still the guy calling the shots.
Well, that's the strength that Shad Khan needs to play to, is in the NFL, when you identify the right guy, you have that guy for 15, 20 years. Look at John Harbaugh in Baltimore. That hire was criticized. He was a special teams coordinator. Yeah. Look at Mike Tomlin, a very young, inexperienced coach at the time that the Steelers hired him. When you were right, the Rams, right on McVay, very young at the time, very inexperienced. But now, I mean, he's going to be the coach, as long as he wants to be. And so that's the beauty of the NFL. It's not like college football where if you make this sensational hire, well, you may look up and that coach is now at Alabama or Texas or USC. It doesn't work like that in the NFL. The coaches don't move. They sign contract extensions and they stay with you. I mean, in the last 30 years, we've seen maybe a trade or two involving a head coach, but it has been a long time since it's happened. And, my guess is you're not going to see it happen again. My point is, if you're Shad Khan, it doesn't do you any good to go the recycled route. What you need to do is go find somebody like Ben Johnson, who is 38, who's been in this league. He's been with Detroit 6 years, and he was with the Dolphins for 7 prior to that. He's been an offensive coordinator for 3. He's doing stuff that is just brilliant, and he's lethal. He's got a killer instinct. That is the kind of mind you want to bring here. How do you bring that mind here? You go and hire the Lions assistant general manager who already knows him. That is how you get it done. And if you hire Ben Johnson, and you're right, that's Trevor Lawrence's last coach as a Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be here hopefully 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably going to be how many more years you're going to get out of Trevor at the max. And it could be a beautiful partnership, but that's what they've got to find. Take advantage of the fact, if this was college football and you're the Jaguars, well, you could lose your head coach to the Cowboys or the 49ers or the Packers. That's not how this league operates. If you're right, if you nail the hire, he's your guy until basically you tell him you don't want him to be your guy anymore.
And let's continue this on the other side, because I really believe that Jacksonville has the advantage here over the other head coaching jobs that are going to open because they have a quarterback. I mean, you want Jalen Hurts to be your guy? Do you want Andy Dalton to be your guy? Dak Prescott is as great as he's been. He's got 1 playoff win. And he's what, 6-7 years older?
Without a doubt.
Than Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
the Jets have no idea who the future is at quarterback.
He's 41.
Yeah, they're stopped. So
the Giants, Daniel. I mean, just look at this is what you got to look at if you're Ben Johnson.
It's the Chargers' job from last year.
Yes,
you're taking over a dysfunctional organization, but
you have a quarterback.
You've got the quarterback, and that's how the Jaguars will be perceived from general manager candidates and from head coaching candidates.
And if you're interviewing this guy and he's a little wishy-washy about Trevor Lawrence, then bam, he's eliminated. He's failed the interview. You got to get a guy who's convinced that he has seen this man on tape, and that with his tutelage, with his expertise, with his scheme, with his game plan, with his knowledge, he can fix Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is 21-35 as a starting quarterback. 21. Did you hear what Bill Simmons said? Let's talk about what Bill Simmons said a little bit earlier today. It's frightening. Okay, this is not for the faint of heart. This is very graphic, and we're going to talk about it. It's coming up.
David Ammon here with Zero Res. Ammon, I can't believe it's been 20 years since we started Zero Res. Do you remember? You were only 7 years old and we had you cleaning the vans after school.
Yeah, I'm grateful I've always had a job that taught me to work hard, take care of things, and to appreciate our good customers.
October is birthday month for Zero Res, so what are we doing for our customers?
Just say Happy Birthday Zero Res and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile and grout, upholstery, or area rugs.
Zero Res.
Spelled Florida backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roofing Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Hey, it's Carline here. Football is in full force, and I want to watch it, not clean the house. So I called Molly Maid. Molly Maid cleaned my house, and wow, exceptional results. They've been voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Visit mollymade.com. That's mollymade.com.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jacks, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reach Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 14th, 1973, future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Willie Mays hits his last career hit as the New York Mets beat the A's in Game 2 of the World Series in Oakland.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and GIA-certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $2,300 per ounce and hasn't seen this level in over 13 years. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jacks for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASE certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors, and with great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? How about scheduling a free consultation or just stop by the Pella showroom right there on Phillips Highway next to Tesla? Pella's professional consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. From simple projects to complex renovations, their team has the experience needed to make your project a success. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
After another blowout loss to the Bears in London on Sunday, Josh Hines-Allen was asked about what he wants to see at the top of the defense's priorities when they return to the practice field in order to have the identity of a defense who can take over the game.
Sense of urgency, must win. We know we have the trust in everybody in here. But the sense of urgency needs to pick up the passion, the love. The reason why we do the things that we do need to pick up a little bit more. And it starts Tuesday once we get back to practice and focus on the Patriots.
The Jaguars are now 31st in the NFL with 176 points allowed through Week 6. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right, it had been rumored, and now it is confirmed the Jaguars have made a move on this Monday. They trade Roy Robertson-Harris to the Seattle Seahawks for a 2026 sixth-round pick. So will not be involved at all in next year's draft. This is according to Mike Garofalo and Tom Pelissaro of NFL Media. So that's going to be a long flight from London all the way to Seattle, but Roy Robertson-Harris is officially out of here. Kind of just a guy, in my opinion, at the age of 31. He was signed through 2026, had a cap figure next year for $8.9 million. It would go up to $9.1 million in 2026. So they free up a little bit of cap space. I mean, it's really, in my opinion, Hayes, it's just a battle of riches here. I mean, for crying out loud, they put a football game yesterday. They didn't even activate Jeremiah Ledbetter. Right. They didn't even activate Tyler Lacey. I mean, they could afford to move guys like Roy Robertson-Harris.
Well, first off, my initial thought is Roy Robertson-Harris is the luckiest man in the United Kingdom today. Because, again,
he's out of the Grove.
I can't imagine. Again, we talked about it, how toxic the Grove would be this week. And look, I mean, I'm speculating, but I'm speculating with a, I think, very good gut instinct on this. You don't go over to Europe and decide to start making trades. So my guess is something of consequence happened here where Roy Robertson-Harris basically either mouthed off to coach, GM, or there was some sort of squabble with a teammate, but there's no doubt in my mind something led to this. You don't just decide to trade a guy when you're in London, England. So I think very interesting, and I obviously, like we were discussing in the previous segment, Rick, maybe the first of several to come.
Roy Robertson-Harris, let's see, I think he played 31 snaps yesterday. He played 26 snaps yesterday, did Roy Robertson-Harris. I'm just glancing over here at Pro Football Focus. He had his overall grade at a 53.6. So, he basically didn't do squat. I've always wondered about him a little bit. I don't have an agenda here, but I had been told by people that are incredibly close to the franchise that not necessarily really liked in the locker room. Okay, there's been a lot of guys over the years who've come through who have been disliked players. Chris Clemens, Jared Odrick, etc. I want to put Robertson in that category. And there were times where he just went away. You didn't even know he played in a football game. So he's 31, doesn't have a lot left. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a deal where he goes to Seattle this year and has to struggle to try to make the team in 2025.
I would agree. He was very upset by the drafting of Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson.
Yep.
And that was clear. And, there were you could tell in his playing time, both in training camp and in some of the earlier games, where you could tell a message was trying to be sent to him. And obviously
making him play in those preseason games, correct, when others did not.
That's right. And so obviously this has been brewing for a while, but my guess is there was a major exclamation point at the end of Roy Robertson-Harris's career as a Jaguar, because the last thing you want to be doing on Monday after your team just got annihilated by the Chicago Bears to drop you to 1-5 is wheeling and dealing 9 hours ahead of Seattle. I mean, that's not what you do.
No.
And so this was obviously something where they could not have Roy Robertson-Harris in the building anymore under any circumstance, and it shows up in the trade value. I mean, we're going to laugh our butts off when this pick comes on the clock in 19 months And we're like, this is the Roy Robertson-Harris pick?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a 6th-rounder in 2026?
Yeah, he just gave him away.
I mean, this is a complete washing machine trade.
It is.
And, and so obviously there's a lot going on. It'll be fat. Look, if you're a Seattle beat writer, I mean, the second he gets in the locker room, if you want to hear a great story, go up to Roy Robertson-Harris and say, what happened? What's happened over the last 2 weeks?
And
I don't know how much interest the Seattle reporter would have in the Jacksonville meltdown. But
we got to fly you there to get that report.
I'm ready. Let's go. I love Seattle.
Seattle's a good town. And because I'd love to, just curiosity, I'd love to know. I think you hit something, though. He's not a good loser. He's not a good guy to have around when you have a losing program. Let me give you a great example. Leonard Fournette put up more than 1,700 yards from the line of scrimmage. They couldn't even get a bag of balls for him. Yeah. They gave him away right before the start of the year and announced they were going to go with James Robinson. You know why? Because here's the deal with Leonard Fournette. And I always liked Leonard. Well, you couldn't tell after a game if Jacksonville won 30-0 or they lost 30-0. Leonard Fournette was going to be Leonard Fournette, and he was his own man. He wouldn't wear a tie on the road. He'd get fined every game on the team playing because he was his own separate guy. And I absolutely knew that Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone were not going to put up with his attitude in what was going to be a losing season, a losing franchise. They said, get out of here. I think it's the exact same thing. I've been told that Roy Robertson-Harris is not a likable guy. And when Andre Sisco starts saying that guys on that side of the ball have quit, I wouldn't be surprised if Roy Robertson-Harris said something to him. And something, I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Something had to have been said. And you don't give a guy away for a 2026 6th-round pick unless he is becoming a major problem in that locker room.
And the other reason why this is, it's in terms of whether it's a good the trade. That who cares? But this is the message that Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson have now sent to the rest of the locker room. Well, we're open for business. We will trade you. So can you imagine how many guys are like, oh, you mean we might actually be able to get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, how many guys forcing?
Yeah, how many knocks on the door is Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson going to get today from guys that basically are like, they see the writing on the wall.
Right.
They know what's happening here. If I'm Christian Kirk, I'd be pleading with them to trade me to Kansas City today.
No doubt.
Pleading with them.
Why not?
Please let me go play with Patrick Mahomes and have a chance to play in significant games this holiday season.
They're down 2 wide receivers.
Absolutely.
In Kansas City.
So, I mean, the problem in making this deal, which is probably why I think something led to it, is from a general manager standpoint, you don't want to send the signal to your locker room that you're willing to trade guys. It's a very dangerous thing because now if a guy was thinking about something like that, well, now you've given him the license to come see you and say, I want out. Can you get me out of here? I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, and you wonder if it's direct or indirect because the easiest thing to do during a lot of downtime in Europe is pick up the phone and call your agent and say, I want out.
Well, because all these guys have now is time to think. They're isolated in England. They're getting ready to play another terrible team, so no one's excited to play the Patriots over there. And they know the season is over. So it is a debacle. We've had a lot of debacles with this organization, but where they currently stand, having to sit in this and on a different continent for a week is something the likes of which I'm not sure we've seen in professional sports.
And if you only knew where the Grove was, it's like an Alfred Hitchcock film. Okay, it's off the beaten path, and it's gloomy, and it's rainy, and it's mildewy, and it's just awful. It's not like they're hanging out and it's tropical, man. They don't have their feet in the sand. This is almost like a prison term, being out there for a week. That'd be the best way to describe the Grove, in my opinion. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2. Roy Robertson-Harris. Someday, is he going to join the Pride? Is he going to be up there next to Tom Coughlin and company? He has moved moments ago. A 2026 6th-round pick, Roy Robertson-Harris, traded to the Seattle Seahawks.
This is the last play of the game.
After the game, join Hacker, Leon, and Coach Campo for the Window World of Northeast Florida 5th Quarter, presented by Von Rowan Lawn and Hurricane Grill and Wings. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time for Bravo Days, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified sales event at Nimnicht Buick GMC. For a limited time, enjoy rates as low as 1.9% APR or $500 in down payment assistance on Car Bravo certified vehicles at Nimnicht. So now is the time to shop certified used vehicles and buy with confidence at Nimnicht Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Now, buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnicht Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. All makes, all models. And trading in your old vehicle? Well, don't forget who gives you the top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnicht. So shop online at NimnichtBuickGMC.com or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. Remember, it's Bravo Days, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified sales event is at Nimnicht.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots and the first treatment now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline for MyBookie, hoping everyone had a profitable betting weekend with MyBookie. If you did, you have Monday Night Football tonight to rack it up. If you didn't, you have Monday Night Football tonight to get right. The Buffalo Bills travel cross-state to take on the Jets. The Jets just fired their head coach. We've seen this before where teams rally after a big shakeup. The Jets are 2.5-point underdogs at home with a 41-point over-under at MyBookie. This game often plays closer than we think, so take a long, hard look at the Jets. MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can just sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up, use promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Georgia Bulldogs survived Mississippi State with a 41-31 win in Sanford Stadium on Saturday night. The Georgia offense rolled with quarterback Carson Beck going 36 of 48 with 459 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. The Bulldogs did a nice job of spreading the ball around with 5 different players finding the end zone. Although Georgia got the win, Coach Kirby Smart was not happy with his team's penalties, allowing Mississippi State to run up the score.
But we certainly helped them, too, with some dumb penalties. I mean, we gifted them basically 14 points, 2 error plays, and then we gifted them 3 first downs. I think they were all third and longs, which I've never been a part of that, not since I've been at Georgia, where it was like, it's hard to say undisciplined because the guy's trying to rush the passer. He puts his hand on the face mask. That basically gifted him another touchdown.
It's 85 degrees at 5:04. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I teased the Bill Simmons piece today. I want to get to that along with Hayes Carlon and J.J. LaSalva. We were rudely interrupted by Roy Robertson-Harris, who all of a sudden packs up his bags and goes from England to Seattle. He has been traded to the Seahawks for a 6th-round pick in 2026. Yeah, really want to know what was said in order for that to come out. And it appears they've already lost the team. They're not playing hard for Doug Peterson. They're questioning whether or not guys have quit on the defensive side of the football. I do have a feeling when you begin to see this snowball effect that it will leak, okay? That is a true example of losing control of a franchise when stories begin to leak. And I don't believe this Roy Robertson-Harris move is going to go to Seattle and we're never going to hear the end of it. I think it's just a matter of time until some of this is spilled.
Yeah, because they all have their guys. You know, Trent Baalke has his guys that are in national media. Doug Peterson certainly has connections. And that is where it's just a matter now of who's going to throw the first Molotov cocktail to kind of set the narrative, and then the other side will come screaming back on it. But I mean, again, I think for the here and now, they're probably going to try to limit that just to stay in power as long as they can and hope that somehow some miracle happens and they get hot. But I mean, Roy Robertson-Harris had a sack yesterday. He played 26 defensive snaps. You just wouldn't do this unless something significant occurred post-game with him. And again, chances are, if it was mouthing off to the coaches, he was probably saying something that a lot of the other guys feel. And if it's teammate versus teammate, which it easily could have been, then getting rid of Roy Robertson-Harris is not going to solve that problem. No locker room issue is ever one guy versus the room. There is always factions. and Roy Robertson-Harris may be gone, but he still has a faction of supporters, I guarantee you, that are going to be displeased and are absolutely going to squawk. So, in the months to come, it will all come out in terms of, and it will be really interesting to see because, I mean, you're sitting on a sports writing gold mine with what's going on in London this week with this team.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever see this. You don't ever see a team as broken as this team is with as bad a leadership as it has. You don't ever see them basically sequestered in a different continent for a full week. I'm not kidding you. Take the Patriots right now.
It's going to be like a month there.
You don't need the 5.5 points.
No, really?
I mean,
really?
You don't need them. Take the Patriots. They are going to kill the Jaguars.
Well, you and I took
Sunday.
criticism last week by picking Chicago. We both picked Chicago, and I didn't want to pick Chicago. I just thought this game really set up well for them.
And I'm with you. I picked that more on the matchups of the game because I didn't think the Jaguars would be able to cover the Bear, and they couldn't. I
didn't project 4 touchdown passes.
I am picking the Patriots on Sunday because I do think they're probably as bad as they are together, and the Jaguars are not.
Think about how much things have changed in a year. I mean, after losing consecutive home games a year ago in the heat to Kansas City and Houston, Doug Peterson looked at us and said, "We got to get out of here." It was unfathomable. I mean, what do you mean you got to get out of here? You got to get out of somewhere when you're in the dog days of June and you've gone 4-8 in a homestand in Major League Baseball and you're going out to the West Coast and your fans and the press is on your ass. You got to get out. You don't got to get out of here after 3 games. But he proved that he was right. They went to London, won both games, and they got that thing rolling a year ago to the point where they were 8-3. This a year later is completely broken down. And this week there is going to end up being like a month as far as I am concerned for them in England. And you know what? I'm glad these stories are coming out. I'm glad for Jaguar fans primarily. The last thing you want to hear is, we got to clean it up. We got to find a way to win a game. It's on me. We got to coach better. We've heard it. Yeah. Okay? I mean, right now, you might as well have these problems. You might as well create a little bit of excitement because what problem after problem after problem after problem is going to lead to what? The bulldozing of the franchise and starting from scratch. And I hope that's what they end up doing. Bill Simmons, not good in math, but I want to read this to you. This is a direct quote from his podcast on Trevor Lawrence. He's 23-35 in his career. That's 55 games. Again, that's his math, not mine. Many guys have started at least 55 games, but one less than 25 games. Well, it's a 9-person list. Here we go. Trevor Lawrence, Tim Couch, David Carr, Josh McCown, Rick Meyer, Daniel Jones, Blake Bortles, Charlie Batch, and Josh Freeman. A 9-player list who have started at least 55 games and have won less than 25. Trevor Lawrence is 21-35 as a starter.
It's a very damning list because obviously the guys on that list outside of Trevor Lawrence are either out of the league or, in Daniel Jones's case, probably this is his last year as a starter. They were dreadful last night offensively against a weak Cincinnati defense. I still, while I think Trevor Lawrence certainly has to play better, I think the environment, as it did most of those guys on that list, I mean, a couple of those guys were on expansion teams, Couch and Carr. This is what I would say. Trevor Lawrence is better than the guys on that list. Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys I've seen. Josh Freeman, I watched his entire career.
Rick Meyer was pretty good. I think he came out the same year as Bledsoe.
Yeah, I mean Blake Bortles, obviously
good college guy.
Yeah. Blake Bortles, obviously we saw that up close. Never really had the talent that Trevor has, and didn't have a great supporting cast around him either. But most of those guys, I would say, were burned by the environment around them. And that's why it is so critical. I'm not ready to give up on Trevor Lawrence.
Neither am I.
But to me, it's just that's where the next vision of Jaguars football has to be. To your point, you don't go and hire Bill Belichick here. You don't go and hire Mike Vrabel here. You go and hire the brightest offensive mind in the NFL that you can get, because you're not going to get a sitting head coach. And Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowik, or those are the guys that you need to be going after. Can they lead men? You're not going to know that. There's no way of knowing that. You're going to have to hope they can. But here's what I would say about that. If you make the players look good with your scheme, the players will follow you. You do not have to be a great leader. I'm not sure Steve Spurrier was a great leader of men, but the players followed him at Florida because he knew on Saturdays they'd look good playing in his scheme. They'd be open. You look at what Ben Johnson's doing. I mean, the lateral, obviously they do a lot of cute stuff. The laterals are sensational. They're tremendous fun. He throws it to offensive linemen. But to me, it goes even beyond that. There's a killer instinct in his play calling. There's the ability to blend in Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery to form a very potent backfield punch. And look at what they've done with Jared Goff. Jared Goff was a cast-off in the Matthew Stafford deal in 21. Yeah. It was almost like hey, we'll also throw in Goff in addition to all these picks.
It's like Jim Plunkett to get reincarnated.
No doubt about it. And you look at what Jared Goff has done with the Lions. He's now in his 4th season. And you look at his numbers, 86 touchdown passes to 31 interceptions.
I think there's a lot of general managers that would take
Jared Goff
right now over Trevor Lawrence.
Without a doubt. How could you not? He's in complete command of his offense. And that's the key to the teaching. Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, they have not been able to reach Trevor Lawrence. They did for a window, but that window has been closed. And I always go back to something that Joe Gibbs said many years ago, but I think it still applies to the NFL today, which is the league changes 10% every year. The league will change from where the league is today to where the league is in 2025. It will change schematically about 10%. It's just the nature of this league. It is how competitive this league is. And obviously the offense Trevor Lawrence was in his first year was an abomination because he was under a head coach that had no idea how professional football works. I think Doug Peterson at a time had a nice offense, but 2017 in NFL years, that's ancient history now. Yeah. And it's an obsolete, stagnant, stale offense that he has designated a guy who has no business being the play caller as the play caller. So I think it's environmental with Trevor Lawrence. I think you bring in Ben Johnson and you hope Ben Johnson with the right creative mind, somebody on the cutting edge of what offense looks like in today's NFL, can bring Trevor Lawrence to the highest level of productivity that we've seen.
All right, let's continue this on the other side. I keep seeing a lot on the Ben Johnson, Mark Brunell combination. Yeah, it sounds nice, but you got to believe that Mark Brunell would be promoted as the offensive coordinator in Detroit. That would be my opinion.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I don't think he'll be here.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark would love it, an opportunity to come back home and work with Trevor Lawrence, but I just have a feeling that if Ben Johnson, whether it's here or anywhere else, becomes a head coach, that Brunell has been thought of very highly as the quarterback coach in Detroit, that he would get that promotion.
I would think Jared Goff would basically go to Campbell and say, it's Brunell.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know. Right. But that would be just a guess with that. All right, we got much more to do. Again, get a ton of emails in, or texts in. As always, we do invite your comments, and today there are a lot of interesting ones. 641-1010, that is the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
It's the ultimate tailgate.
You could win a weekly tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher, valued at $100. And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football. Enter at 1010XL.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
This is Hayes Carlion for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say,
"What? Huh?" I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Jason Judy, 416-1732.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Evan Ingram had himself a day for Jacksonville against Chicago. The teal and black tight end recorded 10 receptions for 102 yards, with his longest reception going for 24 yards on what was an impressive showing. Ingram needed an asbestos suit instead of a jersey because he was simply on fire all game long. Evan Ingram is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
Rake in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contracting. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements with financing options as low as $115 a month. Protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. This offer expires October 31st. Protect your home and your wallet. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 14th, 1973, future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Willie Mays hits his last career hit as the New York Mets beat the A's in Game 2 of the World Series in Oakland.
Frank Frangie here. Big Chief Tire makes auto care affordable with 6-month financing with the CFNA card. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brakes, or general checkup, Big Chief's expert technicians will take care of your car with top-notch service. And with no interest for 6 months, now is the perfect time to handle your vehicle needs. Visit BigChiefService.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply for your CFNA card today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barry here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barry Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit BarryOrthopedics.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Facing a deficit going into the second half, Jacksonville would look to make a statement and get back in the contest. And thanks to an 11-play sequence led by Trevor Lawrence, capped off by a Gabe Davis 21-yard touchdown, the Teal and Black would make the score 21-10 in the third period. The 70-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
The Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium to go head-to-head with the Green Bay Packers for our crucial catch game. Join us October 27th as we fight cancer through early detection, risk reduction, and awareness all game long. Lock in your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Big news, Roy Robertson-Harris moved to the Seattle Seahawks. The Jaguars get a 2026 sixth-round pick. Monday Night Football tonight. Buffalo at New Jersey. Be in the Meadowlands. The Jets and the Bills. Buffalo favored by 1 point. Total 41 and a hook. Why am I looking at this? And it appears to be incredibly easy money. Isn't that Buffalo?
I'm surprised that the line's that.
If I was
little.
a bettor, and I'm not.
I think the Bills will win by 10. I mean, I don't think it'll be an embarrassment, but I would think a comfortable Bills victory.
I'd pour everything into Buffalo tonight if I was a gambler, and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously the Jets have a great defense, and I understand, sometimes with the interim, we've seen it here. You play well for the first game with the new interim coach, but I don't see. I think matchup wise, I think the Bills are a big problem for the Jets. So and look, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look like fluid. Like even watching him running off the field after their last game, I mean, he just looks like he has the body of, it's just gone. It's just, he looks decrepit.
I wouldn't be surprised if he retired during the season. I mean, if we all of a sudden we just woke up tomorrow and found out that Aaron Rodgers has decided to call it a career, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing meaningful football. Obviously, if they win tonight, that was a big thing with Saleh getting fired. It's like, well, if he wins Monday night, he'd be tied for first place. But, yeah, I would think sloppy game. I certainly don't think the Bills are like world beaters. But, yeah, I would take Buffalo and give the one and feel great about that bet.
How about baseball, JJ? The Dodgers yesterday 9-0. Right now, midway through the fourth inning at out in Los Angeles. The Mets up 6-0.
Yeah, Lindor led off after this historical streak that the Dodgers pitching had where they didn't really allow any runs the last two Padres games and yesterday. They give up a home run on the first batter of the game with Lindor, and then they give up grand slam in the second. So, yeah, it's a wrap pretty much. Game one for the Yankees tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Guardians and Yankees. So it's a busy Monday to try to get your maybe your mind off of Jaguars football. You got two baseball games on this Monday, and of course you have what appears to be, according to the bookmakers, a very tight Monday night football game that is ahead of us. So some good news there. Just to take a quick break from the Jags, we'll get back to that in a couple of moments. Some local news: the career is over for Graham Mertz.
Yeah, a really tough injury for Mertz because it appeared like it. Unless it occurred earlier in the game, he was twisted at the goal line on the fumble and got sacked in the first half on a pretty good shot. But if the injury did not occur prior, he basically tore his ACL just kind of bunny hopping in celebration of throwing a touchdown pass. So incredibly unfortunate injury for Graham Mertz. And for the Gators, obviously, the season's over. Billy Napier gave away the game Saturday night. He's getting fired. So, now you'll get a long look at DJ Lagway if he can stay healthy. Mm-hmm. If something happens to DJ Lagway, they have nothing behind him. So it would really become comical what Florida would have at quarterback. But, I think if you're looking at the silver lining to it is now you don't have any sort of quarterback rotation. It'll be DJ Lagway's team. And if He's good, and if he decides to stick at Florida through the coaching change, then maybe going into the 25 season, you've got an experienced veteran at quarterback that's only in his second year.
Can't believe I'm going to admit to this, but I have always prided myself on being truthful with the listeners. It's your head and your heart, right? That's, you think it out or you feel it out. College football, to me, also adds a third dimension. It's your gut. It's right in the middle of your gut. And I'm watching this game between Florida and Tennessee. And I find that my gut is rooting for Florida as a Florida State grad. All of this is because of my pure hatred to Tennessee. How Tennessee has lost 17 of 19 to the Florida Gators, okay? And they yell and they bark and they spew, almost unlike any fan base, and they had lost 17 of 19. I'm not proud to admit it, but I'm just telling you, something was going on through my body. Stone sober, I may add, okay? Because I wanted to get up early for that night. I mean, who doesn't want to get up early to watch football at 9:30 in the freaking morning, okay? So I'm stone sober on Saturday, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, Ballou? You're openly rooting for the Florida Gators as a Florida State grad to beat the Tennessee Vols.
I think it makes a lot of sense, actually, because strategic. I think if you're a Florida rival, you would have liked to have seen Napier maybe get to 6 wins, and have them keep him because he's not the answer. So, that would be another year of Florida delaying the inevitable. And had he beaten Tennessee, I think he would have moved kind of off the firing bubble. I think he would have been on the right side of keeping his job. Now, obviously, some very difficult games to forthcoming. But if he had won Saturday night and then, let's say, beats Kentucky at home, where he's a favorite, wins in Tallahassee, where I think he would have been a favorite, maybe you, between an LSU and Ole Miss game at home, maybe you get one of those two, and you make a bowl game. They probably weren't going to fire him. They don't really want to. They're in a bad spot. They don't have they have an interim school president, so it's not the ideal time. But so I understand it. If I was a dog, if I didn't like the Gators, I would have, I'd have been thinking, hey, maybe it'd be good if he wins this, because then maybe they'll be dumb enough to keep him. Because now everything's aligning perfectly for Lane Kiffin to take the job December 1st, which is the dream scenario now obviously I wanted to win Saturday night. Obviously, you want to beat Tennessee. I didn't agree with Florida fans who were like, I just hope they lose out, and so Billy Napier gets fired. But I will say, I know deep down the best thing for Florida would be to fire Billy Napier and hire Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And the fact that Lane Kiffin now has lost 2 games, mind you, 2 games in which the opponent had to convert a 4th down to stay in the game. So Ole Miss could easily be undefeated, but they have lost twice because they couldn't get the Kentucky or LSU off the field on those 4th down opportunities. So they've got 2 losses. They still have to play Georgia, and they played a non-existent non-conference schedule. So I think Ole Miss is going to go 9-3, which will be a respectable year, but not the year they were hoping for, and they're not going to make the playoff. And Florida will fire Billy Napier the morning after the FSU game, and 2 days later, maybe not even, Lane Kiffin will be the coach, and he'll have the optimal amount of time to try and turn around the Florida program before next season.
And that's going to be scary. As a Florida State guy, this is petrifying to me. I got myself in some hot water with some Mississippi fans, but my point was this. You're never going to win at Mississippi. You can spend all the money that you did this year with the NIL. You're not. You can't. It's a program where you cannot win a championship. As bad as Florida is right now, they have won national titles, and they can win a national title again. Now, they got to fix their NIL, and they got to do some things there, but you can still win at Florida, and it makes complete sense. I mean, Mississippi has lost a couple of games now. They're going to be out of the 12-team college football playoff. They're not going to get one of those 7 at-large bids. So this really does sit up. Well, I know a guy who's really tight with Lane Kiffin, who has told me he's not taking the job at Florida. He's been telling me that literally for months. Things change. Money can change. I know that Lane's got family. I believe his daughter's a student at Mississippi. we'll see what ends up happening here. How about Alabama? What's going on with them?
Really,
another
really,
close game. You know what I love about the SEC this year? South Carolina, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. I mean, outside of maybe Mississippi State, there's not a lot of layups in the conference.
Not, and even Mississippi State just hung 31 on Georgia.
Yes, they did.
In a 10-point game. So, yeah, there's a lot of parity in the league. It is cool to see. But, yeah, that Tennessee-Alabama game, what are your early thoughts on that one?
I got to stay with tradition here. I mean, Florida has won 17 of 19 against Tennessee. It's now 17 out of 20. It's the same number for Alabama. JJ, we looked it up last week. What was it, 4 and 38? Alabama.
They had won the same amount of games in the last 20 years against Florida as they had Bama. So the one in 2022 and I think one in 2015 maybe.
Is this back? Where is this game? Is it in? It's
in Tennessee.
Tennessee gets back-to-back home games. Wow. Pretty impressive there. Alabama fair by 2.5 points. Again, this is a game I wouldn't bet.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, and I don't bet anyway, but I love talking about it. My head right now is saying, how can you play anyone outside of Alabama after the success they have had against the Vols in recent history?
Yeah, that's the thing. I would still take Alabama, but it is fascinating to see the kind of the aura of invincibility now fully dispelled from the Saban dynasty to now the Kalen DeBoer regime. You lose to Vanderbilt, and that certainly goes a long way to eroding that invincibility. And now to see how much they struggled against South Carolina. I mean, Tennessee could obviously easily win the game, but just to your point, based on history, and look, Tennessee wasn't anything great the other night. Florida could have been up 24 points at halftime in their house had they had a coach that's not a complete incompetent clown. And so, in looking at it, I don't think Tennessee's particularly strong. So really, to be honest, the Tennessee-Alabama winner still may not be a great team. It's just, but somebody's got to win the game, and I would take Bama just because it's Bama, and it'll take them playing lousy longer than just a couple of games for that. Even though I know he's not there, I still pick up Saban vibes, even though he's no longer the coach there. It's just hard to block out all the success that they had for, 17 years with him running the show.
I think I found someone who has it worse than we do, whether you're a Florida State Jaguar or a Florida Jaguar combination. My girlfriend has spent the week in Dallas. Okay, she's a Boomer Sooner. She's a Sooner grad. They lost 34-3 in Dallas to Texas. She's also a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Who got rolled 47-9 at home to the Detroit Lions.
That game was sensational. In terms of a team just stepping on another's throat. Yeah. Detroit was throwing haymakers. To get to their 47, Amon-Ra St. Brown caught the touchdown. It wasn't like, it was their 4th, 5th receiver. They were still throwing touchdowns to their star receiver up 40-9 or whatever it was at that point. I think you have to really, obviously, the Lions lose Aiden Hutchinson to a gruesome leg injury, but and that's how could that not affect them? But again, getting back to what the Lions are doing, they're first in scoring offense in this league at 30.2 a game. They're second in scoring defense, 18.2 a game. They're winning each game they play, and they're not undefeated, but each game they play, they win by an average of 12 points a game. Rough times for sure for the Cowboys. They have a lot of problems, but in Texas, you said it last week. You might like to see Texas win the SEC. So far they look like the team with by far the fewest amount of holes, but they get a big test because now they get to see Georgia.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And again, you say it in the NFL, you don't really talk about it in college, but trying to win with a backup quarterback, if that is the case. And I know that Quinn Ewers is back this weekend for Texas, but they now have a tournament-tested guy, you would believe, in Arch Manning behind him. That Ohio State loss only dropped them 4 spots. So it is Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State. How about that? The top, 3, 4, and 5, 2, 3, and 4, repping the Big Ten. 1 and 5 with the SEC, because that's where the dogs come into play. Miami took the bye. this past Saturday. And they did announce that Florida State game coming up in a couple of weekends will be played at 7 o'clock at night in South Florida. Bama, LSU, 7 and 8. Iowa State at 9. Your first team repping the Big 12, an undefeated team. Tim Brando had them this past weekend in Morgantown. And then Clemson comes in at number 10. Clemson arguably has improved more than any team in college football this year who's lost the game. If you go back to what they did against Georgia, they crossed midfield twice in that game on opening day in Atlanta.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But the real question I have is, how are the Noles going to fare going to Duke?
I think they'll struggle there on a Friday night because there's going to be about 24,000 in attendance. But I like them big at night in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where you take the staple out of your wallet, and you just lay that on Florida State. I expect them to come out and address the run early against a very soft Miami Hurricanes defensive line.
Yeah.
And that's what can
that
you
Miami-Louisville game also, this is
gonna
a
be
good
fun.
weekend.
Louisville plays hard.
That's a trap. That is a tough game, I think, for the Canes.
Yeah, well, just a quick peek ahead before our final break. Friday night, you do have Florida State Duke. You also have Oregon-Purdue on a Friday night.
That's going to be a bloodbath.
And then you have a late night game, Oklahoma State against undefeated BYU. That's at 10:15 at night on ESPN. What would the time be over there? I know you can get that in London.
3:30, yeah. 3:30 in the morning. That won't stop me from watching BYU football.
No, I mean, what would? Miami at Louisville, high noon. Boy, it's a big break for Miami to get a team like that. Louisville, a noon game, doesn't allow those folks to get deep into the bourbon there in Kentucky. I wish Florida State played Miami at noon. I really think that makes a difference in the world of college football. I don't know if it's going to matter this year anyway. Miami's going to be a huge favorite.
I saw 17.5.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Right now, obviously before all these games this Saturday.
17.5. Auburn goes to Missouri. Of course, Alabama, Tennessee. Alabama, as we mentioned, 2.5-point favorite. Notre Dame at Georgia Tech. Another interesting game. Tech played and knocked off Carolina. Tech's a smart team. They get him in Atlanta. That could have an upset written on them. Notre Dame favored by 11. And let's see. LSU at Arkansas. LSU trying to lick some wounds. Boy, how about that schedule on Saturday night, though, with Georgia going to Texas? I mean, how good is that?
Yeah, and Georgia's the underdog.
Yeah, 3.5 points. Texas favored, man. 3 and a hook. It almost looks scary.
I was surprised, having seen Mississippi State play Florida, I was really surprised that Mississippi State got to 31 on Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Georgia's probably looking ahead to Texas, but still, with all that talent and the defensive wisdom of Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, the guys on that staff, really surprised that Mississippi State was able to find their way to that many points.
Kentucky did not play well against Vanderbilt.
No,
of course, that's who Florida has next.
Yeah. And I would take I would take Kentucky in the 2 points. I mean, again, it's about the matchups of the game. Kentucky is just going to run right over Florida. I mean, that's what they're going to do. And Florida's defense did play better against Tennessee, and they deserve credit for that. But Kentucky's different. They're just more physical than Tennessee. They're not
they
as
were more physical than
splashy.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I thought they beat Georgia at the line of scrimmage when they played them.
Yeah. And so I think they'll go to the Swamp and win. So, again, I Kentucky getting 2. Again, and the other thing, too, for Florida is if something happens to DJ Lagway, you've got to walk on at quarterback. There is no third guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it gets ugly for Florida offensively if something were to happen to DJ Lagway. And being a true freshman, Mark Stoops is going to have a plan for him. Do not be surprised if DJ Lagway throws 3 picks on Saturday in the Swamp.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, that game's on the SEC network. It's not getting the top 25, ink, but still around here, it is a big one, no doubt about it. All right, final touches on this show. Again, tomorrow, 4 to 6. Wednesday, 4 to 6. Tomorrow's your last show, right? You leave Wednesday?
Yeah.
Going to London?
Yep.
Your money's not good in London, right?
No, it'll be fun.
Okay.
I'll just sit back and enjoy myself, and it'd be interesting if I'm in a pub and a Jaguar staffer walks in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be near the Grove, but I will be in London.
Well, good. There's nothing around the Grove.
And we're going to be. That's right. And we're going to be out and about Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday night, certainly after the game. So yeah, this will be a fun trip. This is just me and my wife. We're not going sightseeing. There's no touristy stuff. We were there last year with my mom and my son, and we did a lot of that stuff, and it was great. But this is just going to be, two adults out having fun in London for 4 nights. Yeah, it should be fun.
Have a blast, no doubt about it. All right, much more to do. Roy Robertson-Harris traded today by the Jaguars to the Seattle Seahawks for a 6th-round pick in 2026. More on that on the other side.
This election, if you want someone who will take care of the messes, someone who isn't afraid to get dirty and work in the trenches, someone who will pump out the problems and prevent future ones, vote for the Duck.
Need your septic tank serviced? Call Duck Duck Rooter, your 5-star Google-rated septic company. Visit duckduckrooter.com.
I approve this message.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Grinding out good grades can be just as challenging as winning games. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Fall in Florida. The leaves may not be coming down,
but the prices are at Beard's Diamonds.
It's the buy one, get one on wedding band sale.
All stackables, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and more are buy one, get one free.
At the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE Neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS. IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
I'm living proof that with Rebound Rehab, you can bounce back and get back in the game. Joe C. for Rebound Rehabilitation, and they helped me recover from an ankle injury that had me down and out. Their team of physical therapists ensure you'll get the best treatment you need to recover and regain mobility. From back, shoulder, and neck pain to a nagging knee or arthritis, Rebound Rehab can help form a game plan through therapy and exercise, complete with an app so you can continue to recover at home. Check out reboundrehab.com. 8 convenient locations.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay. Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
When asked about how he thought about Trevor Lawrence's play in the Jaguars' loss to the Bears, Coach Doug Peterson made sure to put accountability on the team as a whole, not just being on Lawrence.
I mean, he played tough. I mean, he's just one man, obviously, and we've got to play better all around, everybody, and he included. He knows that. There's ownership in that. I mean, coaches the same way. I take full responsibility, obviously, but we all need to be better.
Lawrence was 23 of 35 passing with 235 yards and 2 touchdowns with an interception. The loss does not fall solely on Lawrence after multiple Jaguars turnovers and the Bears tallying 35 points. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, Jacksonville busy out in England today. They move Roy Robertson-Harris for a 6th-round pick to Seattle. That is a 6th-round pick in 2026. And also interesting as far as transactions, they could have put Deshaun Gibson back on the active 53-man roster today because his suspension has come to an end. At least on this Monday, they have elected not to.
Yeah, weird. Tom Pelissero just tweeted that out, that the league did not reinstate him today. Now, maybe they could tomorrow, but it is puzzling because he's done his time.
Yeah, and we had that conversation on Friday, what we thought the secondary would look like perhaps as early as this week, if, in fact, Tyson Campbell comes back as well. Could be another week in, the home game here against Green Bay. We will see. We're out of time. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Sounds great.
4 to 6. Though, thank you to all the listeners. Got a ton today on the text line. Always appreciated. And again, we're going to do it 4 to 6 tomorrow and Wednesday. Thursday, I will be 6 to 8. And then Friday, again, 4 until 6:30. So Frangie is on vacation out in London. And that's how we're going to roll this week. Thank you to Hayes Carteline. Thank you to JJ LaSelva. My name is Rick Ballou. Talk with you on Tuesday at 4 o'clock.